We did a little short snip of my dad doing some mozzarella. So welcome to my house. This is my guest star dad, Tony, today. So he's going to be doing his demo of some fresh mozzarella. We go around to a lot of little Italian clubs and do this, and people were asking for him to do a video. So we're going to do a how-to today. So this is just a little spread, but we'll get to that later. The more important is the mozzarella. Okay, so the most important thing is we're starting with the whole milk curd. This comes in like a 10-pound piece. When we do our catering, we do lots and lots of mozzarella. So there's a lot of important things to do. The one thing is you want the curd at room temperature. The second thing, he's cutting the pieces and he wants them pretty consistent. You can't have one piece really big and one really small because the other variable is hot boiling water. If that water hits the piece that's too small, it'll break down too quick. So it just comes with a lot of experience. So he's got his pieces there, cutting them pretty consistent. Again, you want it room temperature, and then we're gonna get to the boiling water. And another important thing is the boiling water. You want to get it to a rolling boil, then you want to shut it down and kind of let it settle just for a minute. And then when my dad, Tony's ready, he will tell me. We got the sacred paddle. This has been in the family for years. And this is the magic when he starts rolling his mozzarella, as you'll see next. Okay, so now we're ready to dump the water, but another important thing is we took the one pot, shut it down, let it settle. Now I have another pot as backup just in case that curd may be a little bit too cold and this isn't enough hot water. You always want to have a little hot water extra going. Okay, we're going to go over to Dad now. Doing this home, you really wouldn't be doing this amount. I would suggest to start with maybe 2 pounds of curd. And you do want to work in something that's deep because as you're going to see, he's going to start working it with that paddle. So now that hot water is breaking those pieces down and it's going to get like a taffy, shiny taffy, and that's what he's going to look for. Where he learned how to make this mozzarella, which I wrote a little cookbook about the neighborhood where he's from, which is Silver Lake in Belleville, New Jersey, and it was a very Italian section, kind of like the Goodfellas movie. So he worked at my Uncle Freddie's store, Bacino's, and this is kind of where he learned how to do it at a very young age, and it just comes with a lot of experience. There's really no recipe, like I said, for it. So
I started with my uncle, and I was like 9 years old, and you had to work in those days, and I started, and eventually you start learning, and you don't make too many mistakes when you're doing the mozzarella, because if you lose it, see, then you get hit in the back of the head when you make the mistake. So now you don't make no more mistakes. That's what you try to do, to eliminate that. But those were the old days, and they were good days because you learned a lot, and still doing it, getting better all the time. And now my daughter now is in charge, which is good. She's the 3rd generation running it, and I'm fortunate to have my family to work with, and it's a pleasure. Believe me when I tell you. And if you don't like working, you can't do it because it is a lot of work. Because you got to be consistent with what you're doing. You got to pay attention, and especially for the holidays with this kind of business. And we would, for the holidays, Christmas week, we'd probably make 300 to 400 pounds of fresh mozzarella. And yeah, I stood by the table just doing this hour after hour till we got everything done. Everything was always fresh made. Nothing was pre-made and frozen and thawed out. That was our family reputation.
now, as you can see, it's starting to get to that point that he wants, that shiny taffy. And the other important thing is cold water. The cold water is gonna keep the mozzarella in its shape. A lot of places, when they make it, they wrap it immediately in plastic wrap, but we always kept ours fresh in cold water. And as my dad said, Christmas was crazy. He would just be set up at a table and just be making mozzarella all day. So we had tons of people calling for the mozzarella, and the lot would always call last minute. And one day he was taken away from making the mozzarella. My brother jumped in, and he didn't have that experience. And if you don't have that experience, you could lose the whole batch. And my brother Anthony lost the whole batch because you could overwork it too. You have to just, again, it just comes from experience. So another customer, Christmas time, his wife sent him to pick up the mozzarella. He left, then he came back and he said, Tony, my wife called and she said I forgot to get that special water. So my dad started laughing, and it's just really tap water, spring water, whatever you want to use. It's no special water that you keep it in. So I think he's just about ready.
Yep, it's starting to come together now because you can see the shine coming on it. I want to get as much of the curd into the big ball. And like I says, it's just about done. But you got to work fast with it so you don't lose the cream. You see the water turned a little white, and that's cream. So the secret is to keep it in there, that cream, as long as possible. And when you taste fresh mozzarella this way, I don't care. It's a big, big difference. We don't salt our mozzarellas because most people like a little bit, some people like a lot. So all you have to do is, if you wanted to salt it, throw it in this water right now. Or when you put it in the water after you made it, you could throw salt and put as much as you want. So we leave it to the individual. But our mozzarella is very good. It's all, like I says, no preservatives or anything in it. And like I said, no salt.
Good.
Okay.
So now we're ready. He's gonna make, first one he'll do a ball, but when I grew up at my Uncle Freddie's, I always remember them as a braid. That's how I remember them. So right in the water, and that'll just keep its shape. And when you eat it like this, the taste is just unbelievable. And it's just very simple. He just twists it, and again, right in the water.
That's the braid.
And then if it sits in that hot water too long, it'll kind of seize up and you won't be able to mold it.
I'm gonna make the prosciutto.
Okay, so next he's gonna do the one rolled with the prosciutto. So today we have a Parma prosciutto. This is an excellent, excellent prosciutto, but there is one that's a little higher, top of the line, San Daniele, which is excellent. It's kind of like the Ferrari of prosciutto. So here he kind of just flattens it out, almost like a pizza dough. And this way, he's gonna do it with prosciutto, but you really could stuff it with anything. You could do broccoli rabe, roasted peppers, hot peppers, salami, gabagool, anything. But the most popular is the prosciutto. And the saltiness from the prosciutto with that mozzarella is unreal.
Okay. And then we make the braid, and then on the peripheral edge, I like to stuff a little more prosciutto, because I like prosciutto and mozzarella. That's why we make it that way, because I like it.
To me, he overstuffs it, but
There's never such a thing as overstuffing. The best thing to do is eat what you want.
And this is typical for anything we celebrate, whether it's a birthday, graduation, whatever, anniversary. We always celebrate with what I'm going to show you next.
All right, then I'll give another shot in the water with the cream. So this now is...
Now this one does not go in the water. This one I'm going to wrap.
Just to hold it a little bit, shake.
We're going to just gently wrap it in
And then
plastic
I'll...
wrap for a minute just so it holds its shape. Okay, so this one, my son Michael convinced Grandpa to do one with my sauteed broccoli rabe here. So I sauteed, first I blanch it in some salted water, drain it well, then I sauteed it with garlic, some crushed red pepper, olive oil, salt, pepper, good to go. Okay, so our mozzarella is ready. So I'm gonna just do a very simple tomato mozzarella platter. A couple more months and the Jersey tomatoes will be better than ever. And it's still very soft, but it doesn't matter. Because this is when it's best, when it is soft like this. So you just, you know, layer it up. And I have some glaze. It's best with the glaze. Some olive oil if you like, and then just top it with some fresh basil. But my favorite is this, just on a nice piece of crusty bread like that. Now I'm going to turn it over to my dad, and he's going to slice up his prosciutto and mozzarella. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, so we're all finished here. This is our little prosciutto mozzarella platter, broccoli rabe, tomato mutz. We got some balsamic glaze. This is my sauteed broccoli rabe. My hot fryers, these, it's like enter at your own risk because you never know how hot they can make you sweat. Maybe not so hot, but these are enter at your own risk. We got some sweet fryer peppers. The sliced mozzarella, Genoa, hot gabagool. These are my dad's roasted peppers. Marinated artichoke hearts. We got sweet supersad, hot supersad, sharp imported provolone, Asiago, pepperoni, the oil cured olives, and my dad's sun-dried tomatoes. And the best ever brick oven bread, calandras. Okay, so this is just a little bit about my childhood, what I remember. Again, what my book is based of, the Sunday gravy, because we just called it Gravy on Sunday. So it's about my dad's neighborhood, Silver Lake. These are the guys. This is a very old picture of the guys, and this is from '95 at a cousin's wedding. A lot of them are gone now, which is horrible to even think of, but the nicknames were just, I mean, like I said, it was like a Goodfellas movie. The most classic guy from the neighborhood, who a lot of people know, is Frankie the Fly. He was just a hysterical guy, but everybody looked after him and took care of him. And then another one of my dad's good friends is Tommy DeVito, Tamuch, who taught my dad to play guitar.
And
So
he
this is
started-
a little bit about him.
And he started the Four Seasons, and that's our neighborhood. But Tommy, like I said, the street, Belmont Avenue, is now named after Tommy in honor of him, which I'm so proud of.
And the best brick oven bread is from my dad's neighborhood, Calandras, which they're all over now, but this is where it originated, in this little neighborhood.
And if you see some of the names, if you could read them, these were Magnesia, Tamuch, which was Tommy DeVito. That's his brother was Magnesia. And we got Joe Who. We got Joe Polak. Don't know why we call him Joe Polak, but he was Italian. Tony Pomp, Nicky Bruno, Nini Goose, Nicky Machoch. I mean, this is who we were. It's Joe Cat, Joe Mouse, Joe Lightning, and Joe Greek. Joe Jap, Joe Pollock, and Joe Gar. That's the names. Half of them we didn't know the real names because that's the way we grew up.
So this is a little bit of our background, and we hope you enjoyed our mozzarella making video, and
Get the
tune in
top
to
looking
another
good.
video.